Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. Yesterday I played the Klaskowski. A tank that I want to be good, but it will never be good. Today I want to play the double tap, the ts-54. But before that, let's take a look at this. So real quick, if we come back to game, it says tier 9, right? Yeah, right. Because it says it's a tier 9 tank. But if we come back to Tanks GG, and we look at this over on PC, I don't see it anywhere. It's not here. Oh, wait a minute. This is why. Because it's a tier 8 over on PC. So we're not going to look at any of the statistics, but we're going to check out the armor. On console, we did get a readjustment on the armor. So the top plate is, God, I hope it's more than 101. 101.6. Alrighty. Well, unfortunately, no, it's not. It's not. The lower plate's 120. Okay, so the lower plate's 120 on both PC and console. Downside being that this is a tier 9 on console. Turret armor, 250. We're looking at 290. And if we come back, let's do this. Let's go look and see if it's 250. So we got 250? Hold on. 255? Hold on. 255? Okay, so yeah, we got 255 in the exact same spot in PC. We got 270? Yeah, we got 270. However, we're at the wrong goddamn tier. We got all the issues, all the problems with the tank. We even got 30mm roof armor. And over here on console, if we take a look. Let me take a look here. Oh my God. We're gaming my brainy no brain. Because your brainy no brain. Now, there's one thing about this tank that, whenever you see it out in the field and this thing's hauled down, remember this. This is where you shoot the 200mm spots. The reason why you want to fire here is because that's 200mm with no actual armor behind it. You always aim to the closest inside. And if you look, damn near, no matter the angle, that 200mm is very persistent across the board until you're further inside. But then if you're in front of this thing at all, look at how much, no matter how the angle is, if this thing is facing you any direction, that 200mm almost persists across the entire front of the tank. Anywhere else around here of the turret, you're looking at 300, you're looking at 310mm of effective armor, 310. So if we load the APCR, 252mm of pen, hatch up top, 150. But this is always consistent, 200mm inside this spaced armor protection, left and right. So yeah, we got 63mm, 63.5mm side armor on PC. I wonder what we're looking at over here in console. 63.5. We also got 85mm in the high section. All right, mildly high section. Somehow I managed to land on it perfectly. And we got 80mm along the side path, 76 back of the turret, 75. And then we got 63. However, we do not have 63.5. Don't ask me what the 0.5 is for, but it's there. And then we got 50mm of lower armor, slightly bowed, and then 40 underneath that. Yeah, so this is legitimately an exact replica. You got the 40 down low, you got the 50 here, 63.5, you got the 80, you got the 75, and then 63.5. Major downside is, if you guys noticed, unfortunately, this has everything that the ts-54 on PC does. So now we're running into the issue of the only advantage this tank gets once it was bumped up to tier 9 was penetration. That is it. This is a complete scummy cash grab tank whenever they first released it. And I don't care what anyone says. To me, this tank will never be worth it until they bring it down to tier 8. So yeah, if you guys get the double tap, don't be excited about this tank. This is not a good tank. This tank is specifically made to irritate you. And because I can, I'm just going to load nothing but premium because I can. Because I have the economy to support it right now. I'm sitting on 60 million silver, so full premium, and gonna be nothing but pain for the first couple minutes because, yeah, you gotta remember this is tier 8 haul in tier 9. Also, I got like a whole 12 pack of cans off to the right side of my desk. It's covering my Steam Deck, so I'm struggling to do stuff. I think this is how big of a muppet I am. I just realized that my Spotify player was open up that entire time. Hopefully that doesn't hit me with like a copyright strike. I don't think it will because there's no audio playing. It was just the album cover essentially and what song was playing. Yes, I enjoy Tool. I hope you guys do too. I love A Perfect Circle. I love Deftones. There's like an entire plethora of bands that I enjoy. Now, power to weight wise, not too bad. Goes 40 top speed. But no, dude, double tap ts-54. Yeah, I still don't know why they called this tank double tap. Like, if you wanted a real double tap tank that you could actually name double tap, the only one that comes to mind is the LPC, the TL1 LPC, because that's actually got a double tap gun. You know, it's not a double barrel, but it goes 1, 2. Like, I think it's like 1.12 seconds, and then it fires off its double shot. At the mag. 280 heat pin at tier 8. You know, absolute amazing tank. No armor, but amazing tank. Let's take a look here. So yeah, my biggest issue with this tank is that they bring it up to tier 9, and then they leave it with every single weak spot that PC gave it at tier 9. So it's like, you've got, sure, you got the tank. He just fired. You got the tank, you know? Oh, Clone Guy played on my account. I can tell because my my mini-map was a circle. Uh-oh. I wonder what he's using it for. What'd I miss? But, here we go. No, I'm not gonna pull that. I'm not stupid. I got the turret armor to handle this though, so if I really wanted to, I could easily pull up and just hammer down this hatch. Speaking of which, the other day someone was asking me about like where do you shoot AVREs, and all the time I'm always aiming at the exact same place trying to catch that hatch. But right here on the gun mantle, you can fire at the gun mantle to the right side, and you can pin there as well. And if you got a big enough gun, you can easily overmatch the inside. But you got to be careful because you got to make sure that these land within like a very specific section of the gun mantle. The first shot is the one you referenced, not the last two. The last two are kind of just blah. So yeah, if you see it frontally and you don't trust your shot against the hatch, shoot the right side of the gun mantle because that entire area I think is like 236 millimeters, 210 millimeters of effective armor. So you can essentially tear it up right there. Not much of an issue. All right, and if I somehow start performing good inside this tank, believe me, it's because of me. It's not the tank. So that's all I'm gonna say, because today feels like it's gonna be an actually kind of decent day. 571, 280, 280. I no math today either. Like I don't know what to do. I just got 480, 520, 560. Why am I struggling to think of 560? Oh my goodness, I am completely out of it. So over in TexGG, you can enter auto ricochet with this tank on that upper plate. Almost driving flat on. Like you get an additional 2 degrees of gun depression. The upper plate turns into auto ricochet on this tank. So I mean, sure, you know, you can get some nasty, you know, button plants on a Sheridan, bounce off the button plants. Oh, that's the song. Okay, that's music playing. I was sitting here all like, what the hell is that? No, it's Tool being Tool. It's one of their quiet songs. It's Vigilant Trees? Trees? Oh my goodness, I'm struggling. Yeah, well, this is a fantastic match. I got the mobility, but I'm just being a muppet. Quinaponza Tier 9. The only pneumatic suspension that's actually manual. The only tank that has pneumatic suspension that I actually recommend to buy. All the other ones are absolute garbage. You know, I'm looking at my team, and I see the Quinaponza 50-ton, and I would much rather be inside that tank. I think it's got like a what is it, 7.2 second reload for 320 alpha, but it's got the turret armor and mobility. It's a tier 9 heavium. It's an absolute. I love my Kunapanzer 50-ton. I need to 3-mark that. That is one tank that 3-marking is actually on my list to do, and this guy doesn't have any. So if he's fresh in that tank, I guarantee he's enjoying playing it. If you guys are looking for a good tier 9, you can't go wrong going after the Kunapanzer 50-ton. Good tier 9 medium. Now, I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's one of the ones that if you're playing casually, or if you want to play aggressive, it is a perfect all-rounder. Doesn't mean you're going to be God mode. Just means that it's a good tank and will treat you nice. Oh, he's going behind the building. I gotta look at what stars. What the heck did Alright, if you guys look at my account on What Stars, any artillery that is being played, I blame Clone Guy. I blame Clone Guy for all of it. One pin. Now, if I remember correctly, the ammo rack in this tank is located in the front, so I gotta be really careful. B-34 black, Storm Tiger. Storm Tiger just fired. You can actually hear whenever that thing fires. Things at a very distinct sound to it. Which, whenever artillery lands, I can't tell if he fired. I want to see if I can risk it for the biscuit here. I do need to pull up and get to the building up here in front. Not hug it, because I want to stay out of that 50-meter proxy spot. So keep a little bit of distance if I get proxied. Arachi. In my last live stream, during the banner event, I actually did 5,000 damage with standard rounds out of the 15 with that thing. Should be able to upper front plate him with the 284 I got. Now, in terms of all-around performance, this thing is an absolute Chad for double tapping and everything else, but then you gotta be top tier to make this thing feel like any kind of alright. If you're not top tier, this thing is just beyond bad in my eyes. Alright, we're gonna get hit again here in about 3 seconds from that Arachi, the 100. You can't see where those turrets are. Oh, SFAC. And right there, you know, like we didn't have any armor to defend against that inside this tank. Like it is, yeah, I don't know. Look at that double shot straight into that weak point I was talking about right there. You can see both of them landed right there in the SFAC. Like the accuracy with those guns is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely redonkulous. Kind of stuck watching this. Sarge Tim's on PlayStation. He's done no damage. He hasn't ricocheted anything. He's sitting back here. Now, I'm not going to judge him. Like, he might actually be a newer player. Kind of got my hopes up that he's going to get a Radley's. You know, just randomly clutch it out of nowhere. Alrighty, so fun fact about the ts-54. It's actually got 94 millimeters rather than like a 90. So you can overmatch 30 millimeter plates. You know, just a small thing. Speaking of which, Milanovka. I'm gonna make a little bit of an aggressive play. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, you get to see that it didn't work out. Now, what did Clone Guy play in my account? Oh, he played the IS-5 and my Mile. Okay, that explains why the Mile was 3-marked. All right. I was sitting there like, I don't remember. Yeah, no, the Mile's a freaking beast of a tank. The M449 is an absolute monstrosity. Oh, we got 260. All right. And since he's rushing up, that's going to slow me down. So along with this tank, you do got to worry about like the fact that you do 280 alpha. So in terms of like a competitive aspect for this tank, you struggle because you've got other tanks in game that do 320, 360, 400. And I mean, sure, you can double shot for 560, but that requires you to fire off twice and then have a really long reload in exchange for that alpha potential. 248. At least the guns are pinpoint. That's like the only thing good about this. That made me jump. WZ, you made me jump. Three, two, one. So it takes 310 millimeters of pin to go right through the gun mantle of this thing. And keep in mind, that's at tier 8. Not tier 10. That's tier 8. Alright, so we lost all this capability that this tank offers once they took it up to tier 9. We essentially got a nerfed version of this tank, and I would have much rather preferred to have this thing at tier 8 with 252 pin on its premium, because that would have made this thing so much more better. So much more better. Now, if you notice that I'm making the armor work, it's because I know how I have to line this thing up. So, yes. That's the way to look at it. But this thing is not, like, for everyday play, this thing is not good in the slightest. It is just god-awful. And right now, I'm being jammed up by this 260, so not exactly a whole lot I can do. See if I can get a double on that. Oh, he backed up as I fired. Yep. All sorts of fun. Alright, since he's heading low, this is going to be golden. I did get hit with a lockout, so there's a chance he's going to get some damage on me. Nope. There we go. Was that an upper plate bounce? That was an upper plate bounce. Alright, another run spotted. I want to try and push up to this section up here, but I don't have anyone supporting me, so taking that risk might not be a good idea. Ooh. I guess trying to repeat the scout would be alright, except for the fact that my team just got obliterated right there. You know, if the grill got spotted, that means that they have... Object 432 might be in the fields. No, he's up in the top section. Alright. So far, though, we got full control. Alright, I'm not being spotted, which means I got time to push up here. Waffle E100 is somewhere on here on my left side. Getting a lot of assist. Yep, there's the 430. One thing I can do for the 430 is to rush up here, get spotted like I'm going to try and fight, back off, and then flip. Depending if I spot him up here or not. Beautiful. I am just a literal scout. Wow. Oh, dude. What the heck? I am just a scout heavy now. Alright. I guess, I provide the assistance for the team by seeing everything. Well, I'm not sad about this outcome. It's an easy 8K combined. 8,500. Yeah, alright, the play worked out. Even though I got held back at 6,696. It's not bad. What is that? First class? First class at 1529. Alright, so people are not exactly doing too good inside this tank. Alrighty. I see a Regal Dorn on my team. And the only thing that goes through my head is, I want to tell you guys that, hey, I only own one tank out of the Warhammer pack, and that is the medium tier 8, because it actually makes sense. For a tank in game, the tier 8 is just a miniature 430U that performs very good in the right hands. It's not a tank that's dummy proof like the Regal Dorn and the Lehman Russ. So I never bought the Regal Dorn or the Lehman Russ, and I don't plan on buying them because to me, they're not a part of World of Tanks. They're not historical in the slightest. They're not a blueprint. They're not anything. They're a crossover tank that was designed to be absolutely ridiculous. And if they wanted to really introduce that tank, that would have made me go, oh, okay, I'll buy it. They should have introduced it as a tier 8 and lowered the crap out of the armor. If they would have done that, I would have been like, all right, not bad. I'll buy it. But no, they made it a tier 10, a top contender in the match, and they made it ridiculously strong. So that's my problem with it. Feels like a valid reason. What do we got up there? 257, 277. 100 running the small gun. Respect. 277 is getting slapped. That 57 is going to be loaded back up here in a moment. He's backing off 2 reload right now, which means I got a little bit of time to try and get into the haul down position back here. You can see that there's a slight dip next to that castle. You can get hauled down on the right side of it, facing these guys. So my goal is to try and get there. Yeah, not gonna happen. If my lower plate's exposed right there, I'm gonna be very surprised. Because if you look at the way that looks, it looks like I should be completely covered. But no, it's not. Like, the map designs that they have right now, everything lies. You zoom in, and you have bushes and leaves in your face the entire time. Like, look at this. It looks like I should be completely fine where the upper plate's, like, barely exposed. But no, it's completely wrong. And I'm one of the first people dead on my team. And then again, there's also an upper plate pin. So, I mean, you know, tier 8 haul at tier 9. Also, Wargaming, please open browser my ass, okay? There's a very simple solution to this. You put it in the game, and you don't make me go to the website, which is a third-party application for the game. Keep in mind, yes, it's their official website, but if you are playing the game on your Xbox, this is considered third-party involvement. You have to switch to a different website just to be able to load this, unwrap your crap, whatever the hell it gives you, which honestly, I don't even know what any of this even means, because I don't really care, because once this is done and over with, these will have no value. These will just like not exist anymore. This was a complete waste of effort on their side. Because to me, I look at these and I think to myself, oh, I don't give 2 craps at all. Because it's trash. In a week, like whenever the event's over, this entire design that you guys put inside this will no longer exist. This will be gone. You'll never be able to look at this again. So to me, I'm just sitting here like, wow, cool. I'm just going to make sure I go completely cross-eyed because I'm capable of actually going completely cross-eyed with both of my eyes because I got a weird skill set with stupid stuff that I can do. But yeah, I'm better off looking at this thing cross-eyed because it makes absolutely no sense why you got to go to a third-party application to do it. And sorry about the rant. It's just how I feel about it. Anyways, I think for the last match, I'm actually going to play the T-55A for you guys because at least this is a decent tank. I have not played Sword Coast since it was released, so this is a first for me. Oh, it's been so long since I played in this map. I actually got a memory of being like parked over here, driving off a cliff in my T10, and killing 3 guys by ramming them all. Alrighty, let's see if I can remember this map. They did change it, and something tells me in all of wargaming fashion, I'm going to see some floating buildings. Is there anything floating? I guarantee I'm going to be able to find something floating. I guarantee we're going to look at a couple of rocks and they're not going to be designed properly. There's going to be like pasted assets from everywhere because these are the exact same rocks from everywhere. If you guys play in El Haloof, you're going to notice a lot of rocks that just outright don't have full rendering. Like they're missing entire sections of the rock. Alright, I'm going to get myself killed. Yeah, I'm going to get myself killed. Yeah, that's a little bit too fast for my taste. We're not even outside of our base yet, and they're already scouting us. And there's, like, no bushes to actually utilize over here. So, great design, Wargaming. You made it to where people can drive across the map in 2 seconds. Alright, this looks decent here. Or maybe they just have a superior spawn. I have not yet seen this map. Ooh, T-55A. Respect, my dude. That Grillio just got absolutely obliterated. I do feel like I'm gonna need heat. Alright, ammo rack through his roof. I guess that works. I don't know where that shell went, but alright. Someone tell me where the ammo rack is on that thing so I can try and snipe it. Guess decent design. Yeah, I don't see him peeking again. What's up there? Conquer? Downside to the T-55A? Just ammo. Still a good tank, though. Don't let the alpha fool you. This thing's got to reload. That's a regular Conqueror, so we're going to do this to his gun mantle. I got to be able to see it clearly. I can't shoot through, like, 1,001 things of nothing there. You can actually go through the gun mantle of a Conqueror. It's 215 in a couple of spots. As I always tend to do, is try to demonstrate. And then it fails. And then I continue to do it anyway, just trying to show it off. And then I go through half my ammo count doing it. Alright, I gotta get some shots ready for that bat. You in front of him or behind him? there's a lot of trees. So maybe on what is this map? Sword Beach. Knock down the trees. The trees are gonna help you. Because there's a lot of them that you can knock down, but there's like no bush coverage anywhere. Like I'm already spotted just moving around. Also, if you guys have a tank that you want to see on the channel, you want to see me cover it and play it, just type it out in chat. If I got it, I'll rock it. I have no issue. No issue in the slightest. You are back in cover. Couple of decent haul down positions, but it's still not great design. Not great design in the slice. I can't even remember what my gun depression is inside this. $5 degrees? 6 degrees? Gun depression doesn't really matter to me. Because you can always back up and prop your butt up against something and peek over. There we go. Oh, there we don't go. Hello, artillery. I don't know why you're staring around me. 4005. Absolutely obliterating me. I would, you know, reinforce my health in one shot. 2/3. Yeah, because yeah, 2/3. I've been playing safe the entire time, and when I don't play safe, I get absolutely slapped. Artillery, focus on someone else. T-58 still up and going. 4005. What's spotting me? Something's in the open spotting me. Very confused on this map. Nice, a little bit of a high roll. 320 is my alpha, 325 is a mild high roll, so I'm not going to complain about that. Oh. QL. I'll get gun depression, never mind. It is 10-4, so I mean, like, whatever. And I can't remember if this is a 100mm on the dot. T-55 is just, it's a good tank. It's a tank you don't see often, but it's one you got to appreciate. Any high rolls? That seems about right. I'm not sad. I was gonna rush in anyways, but I get slapped by both the British TDs, so 600 alpha and then 1050 alpha. Absolute pain. He should have heshed me. I don't know why he hit me with an AP run. Anyways, you guys, simple video. I'm just gonna let you know ts-54 is an absolute joke of a tank, and I have some people who were excited that they got it out of a chest on Facebook like a few weeks ago, or like a couple months ago. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was sitting there all like, really? It's not even that good of a tank. The thing is just, it's trash. That's all it is. Alrighty, well, it's 7:50 p.m. for me right now, and I'm usually in bed by 7 o'clock, so I'm up a little bit later than normal. Lux, dude, if you're watching this, man, I'm going to cover your replay tomorrow with the SVAC and go over that one, and then do my thing on top of it. Because I want to watch that replay, 6,500 inside that tank. 6,500 is not the highest damage I've seen done in Tier 8, but that is a very good game. And for some reason, I'm not impressed by it. Even though it's like I average 5K and it's very hard to hit 6K. 65 is an achievement, but for some reason I'm not processing that it is, because I've done like an 8,000 damage match before, and I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, those are so far and in between, it's not even funny. 6,500 is an achievement. Anyways, guys, have a great day, afternoon, night, whatever time you're catching this. And just so you know, ts-54 is quite literally the biggest joke that you can get your hands on in the game, because it's Tier 8 armor at Tier 9. There are a couple of plates on this tank that were readjusted for it to handle Tier 9 a little bit better, but in the time that I looked at it, I couldn't find them. So it looks like they either reverted it back to its original introduction status, or they decided to say something else and say, hey, we don't really care. We're just going to leave this thing as a pile of junk to begin with. Because in all honesty, if you want to balance this tank out correctly and make it worthwhile and make content creators actually say that it's a good tank, the simplest thing to do it, I see an IX and I want to see a VIII in front of this thing. You do that and suddenly everyone's going to want to buy this thing. You can lower the penetration. No one will be sad about that, because technically you buffed it. Anyways, guys, I'm out.